Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's August 27th, 2023, and this is your Fortean file. I'm gonna forego any music today because I just don't want to. We did not do a show on Monday. Unfortunately, I found out Monday. I noticed something on Una, the dog behind me here. That one. Sunday night, I was sitting with my son watching some TV, and he says, "Dad, what's that thing on Una's belly? Like right down that side. That side. Over around there." She had like a it looked like a bruise, but it didn't look like a bruise. It looked like it was dirty. So I tried to wash it, and as I washed it, it just looked more like a bruise. But she had like all kinds of them. And I was like, that's odd. And Monday rolls around. I was going to get some lunch for me, my stepdaughter, and my son. And I come back, and my stepdaughter says, "Have you seen the thing in Una's mouth?" Now, I let Una get in my face daily. And I would have seen this thing instantly. So it had shown up like overnight. Sort of thing. Excuse me. So I instantly called the vet. Because I look, she's got this huge growth on the inside of her mouth. And she's got other things that look very similar all over the place. And she's got blood all through her mouth. It's just not good. So I called the vet, and they're like, "Can you bring her right down?" And I'm like, "I can't. I gotta wait until like 4:15. So they're like, "Yeah, if you can get her in here at 4:15, we can take a look at her." So I get her down there, and of course the vet says, "Well, I can take a biopsy of it." Now, mind you, they had told me a month prior that she more than likely had breast cancer. But in order to do a biopsy, it's $2,000. And then, of course, you have to treat it after that. Una was 13. I decided when I took her in that I wasn't going to do any crazy type of stuff. I saved her when she came to us. I spent like $3,000 on her when the pups were born. He's like, I can biopsy the thing in her mouth. I'm like, yeah, and that's going to cost me about $2,000. And he's like, yeah. He's like, it looks like cancer, if I'm being honest. And I said, yeah, I figured as much. And he started talking to me about euthanization. It wasn't what I wanted to do, but I didn't want her to suffer. She was still in good spirits. She wasn't acting like she was in any pain, but she had literal growths all through her mouth that appeared like out of nowhere. And these lesions. So I took her home. My son went with me to the vet. I took her home. And I talked to my wife and my stepdaughter about it. And then I said, you guys make a decision on what we want to do as far as, her remains go. We had a few options. And I'm going to go to the pet store and just get her a bunch of shit for tonight. Which I did. And I bought her a brand new Kong and some stuff to fill it up all night long. Like, I literally just kept filling the fucking thing and letting her eat the shit out of it. So, and I got her a little toy to play with too. Because I rarely would get her toys because she would just tear them to shit. But of course she didn't touch that. So, and I just, gave her as much love as I could over the night. I called her former owner and said, you need to come over tonight to say goodbye if you want to. And she did. She thanked me for having her come over. And she thanked me for taking care of her too. She was 13. That's pretty old for a dog. Like when I spoke to the vet, I was like, how old is she? And she's like, well, you know how old she is. I'm like, no. How old is she? And she's like, she's geriatric. And that was the previous time that I'd taken her in. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on a geriatric dog. Just not. I love her, but I just don't see the point. So, like I said, loved her up all night, and then Tuesday morning we took her in, and, had the euthanization done. Wasn't fun. I don't recommend it as like a fun activity. So, that's why we didn't do the show on Monday. So I just wanted to update everybody on that. There are people who listen to the show, who watch the show, who have followed, the story of Una. When I took her in, who used to watch like the Fortean slip, or who paid attention on the different social media pages. This dog saved my life. I may have saved hers at the time that I took her in, but she saved mine. Addiction's a terrible thing. And, for a long time, I kept it inside that, I'd fallen off the wagon. And I did in 2018, 2019. Pretty hard. And I got sober again. But I was a fucking wicked dry drunk. Or quote unquote dry drunk, because I didn't drink. And when Una came into my life, there was something about her that just snapped me out of it, snapped me back into reality. I don't know if it was having her to take care of, knowing that I was responsible for her in that moment, and that she needed my help. But that's what it was. I'm not proud of it, obviously. But it is what it is. I've kept it pretty close to the chest. Normally I'm pretty open about a lot of that shit. But it was stupid. It was after my divorce. Kind of went on a fucking spiral. Took me a little bit to come out of it. And like I said, having this dog, she just led me back out. She was a difficult, pain in the ass dog. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. She was miserable. She would bark at everybody. She would act like she wanted to tear the throat out of every dog she saw, except for her daughter. The initial puppies, when she had them until they left, and then if any of them came back, she would want to kill them. But Ghani, who stayed, she loved Ghani to pieces, but if she saw another dog, game on. Could barely take her anywhere. Couldn't take her outside. Not for long, anyway. Couldn't take her really for walks. When we took her to the vet, we had to call ahead to have them clear the lobby so that we could bring her through. And then they'd have to clear the lobby so that I could bring her out to the car. Biggest pain in the ass I have ever had to deal with for a dog. Wouldn't change a fucking thing. Wouldn't change a fucking thing. She was my angel. So, I was hoping I wouldn't get emotional, but maybe I will. So she brought me back. Addiction is one of those fucking weird things where usually the person knows better. Always knows better. But you don't consider that shit when you're in it. And you just go into destructive behavior. Having her come into my life and having to take care of her, realizing she was pregnant. I didn't want her to be pregnant. I'll never forget walking down the fucking road with Una. Two ladies sitting outside the little cottage or whatever the fuck they're renting. Sitting out at their little table. And I walk by with Una. And the lady says to me, "Oh, how far along is she?" And I went, "I don't know yet. If she even is." And she was like, "Oh no, honey. I used to breed dogs. I can't remember how many weeks she said she was, but she was pretty fucking accurate." And the next thing I know, I'm seeing puppies moving around inside her. Yeah, so we went through all of that, and the birth was a fucking bitch, and we almost lost her during the birth, and we lost 4 of the puppies, and she had 8, 4 survived. But yeah, I've kept it pretty quiet that I'd fallen off the wagon. Wasn't the same shit it wasn't pills, but it was bad enough. Just say that. It was coke. But yeah, that dog. That's what I have to thank. And not for getting me sober. I got myself sober, to be honest. it was leading me back out of fucking not being a miserable son of a bitch. She had a way. As much as she was hard to deal with. You know, couldn't do much of anything. Trying to find people to take care of her for us. Woo! That was fun. Yeah. By the way, she might try to tear your head off when you come in the door. But she's sweet as hell, I promise. Oh, fuck. But yeah. Yeah. And life is... it has a wonderful sense of fuck you. I won't say irony. I'll say fuck you. I just read Brandon Sanderson's book, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which, really good book, by the way. And last week I had started reading Fairy Tale by Stephen King. I'd purposefully not read a fucking thing about this book. I wanted to go into it cold. I didn't want to know a fucking thing about this book. And, it's a story of a fucking young kid. Winds up saving this old man because the dog that the old man has hears the dog barking. And then he winds up taking care of this dog for the old man. It's an old female dog that's on its way out. And then I won't give away everything anyway. But, of course that's what I fucking wound up reading. Just as my dog winds up being euthanized. Good times. Good times. You know, 'cause life. Fuck you. I think that should be a bumper sticker. Life. Fuck you. So, that's why I adored this dog so much. She may have been a miserable bitch. She may have been completely hard to handle every fucking day. But I didn't care. It was worth every fucking minute. 'Cause I mean, I don't think I wouldn't be here, but I wouldn't have snapped out of it. I wouldn't have stopped being a fucking miserable fuck. I just could not get out of it. And something about this dog. I mean, look at that fucking face. Look at it. Look at it. She's goofy as fuck. Goofy as fuck. But yeah, that's why we didn't do the show on Monday. So my apologies there to everybody. Give you this kind of little bonus episode, I guess. It's not really much of a bonus. But yeah. That was my girl. She brought me back into the light, and for that I will be eternally grateful. She's a wonderful dog. And she gave me a fucking goober dog over there. Who's on the bed just kind of chilling. She's a little depressed too. She's kind of not eating right. So I've been walking her, trying to keep her occupied. Keep her mind off everything as much as possible. She started doing this weird thing where she goes to the car, just like she thinks we're taking her somewhere. She's never done that. Like, I'll go to take her outside, and she'll instantly go to the passenger door. And Missy's like, you think she wants us to take her where Una is? And I'm like, probably. I'm like, she don't want to go there yet. Let's hope that fucking trip's a while away. So, but that's pretty much all I got. I loved my dog. And for a long time, I tried to be extremely honest about my addiction. And that was one portion of things that had happened that I kept really close to my chest. You know, the downward spiral that I went through after my second divorce it wasn't healthy, let's just say. I met some people that I probably shouldn't have hung out with. Did some things I shouldn't have done. But you live, you learn, you move on. You find a fucking dog. And the rest is history. Don't be afraid to reach out to other people when you're down. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to own your shit. But if you can do it, you'll be better off for it. I thought I'd licked everything, and because it was something different, I didn't think it was a big deal. And for the record, so everybody knows, the reason why I did that weed break, I'm pretty sure that was 2020, was just to prove to myself that I could put that down. Because I did not need to be ruled by anything. That's not something I'm going to stop doing. You know, so many people have said that, you know, my sobriety is a fucking joke because I still smoke weed. Well, fuck off. Because it's here to stay. Hate to say that. That's one thing I'm not giving up. All the other shit can go fucking screw. But that was ultimately why I did that. I needed to prove to myself that it didn't rule me either. So, a boy and his dog. It's a beautiful story. Sometimes it's tragic. But there it is. Katie and I will be back tomorrow night. I hope. She's in the chat. Are we back tomorrow night, Katie? I hope we're back tomorrow night. I think we're back tomorrow night. I'll do the show. I don't know if she'll do the show. Yeah, she says she's good. Yeah, we're good. We'll bring you the news of the week. The strange. I haven't grabbed any topics, anything. Katie, I started watching a YouTube channel, Just Thought Lounge. I don't know if you've checked that one out before. That one's pretty good. True crime shit. But anyway, we've got to find some main topic to start delving into. Katie wanted to look into the Scientology stuff, so maybe we can give you guys like an update about what's going on with stuff with that. As just a thing for this week. We'll see. I don't know. So until tomorrow night, be good to one another out there. It's a wild and wacky world. and sometimes well worth fighting for. Until tomorrow night. See ya.